lucky episode number 13 of the Frisky Whiskey.
Number 13.
Mike D, we have a freaking lineup here, man.
We do.
What are we doing?
We are doing Scotch, and more Scotch today. We are making up for not having Scotch in a couple episodes since episode 3.
Episode 3.
And I even was complaining to T.I. about this. And I'm a Scotch guy from my heart. I started with Scotch.
Facts.
So we have a lineup that is for the kings.
I love it.
We have a Balvenie 14-year Caribbean Cask.
Delicious.
We have a Compass Box the Spaniard.
Ooh.
We have a Johnny Walker Celebratory.
Yes, we do.
And then we're finishing off with a 15-year Dalmore.
Which we've already tried.
Talked about it. You heard us talk about it last week. We're going to relive that
it.
whole moment again because it's a good moment.
It's awesome.
Yes.
You know, and of course the Balvenie 14 is also delicious.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is actually one of my all-time favorite scotches. I got introduced to that like 9 years ago, and I fell in love, and we've never had an argument. We've always just gotten along. All right, so I'm going to do our little course here.
I'll go ahead and
you,
kick us off.
Balvenie.
So, the history of the Balvenie whiskey begins in the picturesque region of Speyside, Scotland in the 19th century. The story goes that William Grant, a farmer who had been working as a manager at the Mortlach distillery for over 20 years, decided to start his own distillery. Together with his 7 sons and 2 daughters, he began construction of the Balvenie distillery in 1892. In 1893, the first casks of Balvenie whiskey were laid down to mature. The Grants were patient and refused to release any whiskey until it had reached the perfect age. They believed in the importance of quality and craftsmanship, and this philosophy has been passed down through generations. In 1957, so we're going up a ways here, William Grant and Sons, the company that owned the Balvenie distillery, introduced the first ever single malt whiskey. So they created the single malt.
Yes, that is what's so cool. That's why I put that on there. That's important information.
That's a good little key piece of info right there.
I didn't know that.
This was a significant departure from the blended whiskeys that dominated the market at the time. The Balvenie was one of the pioneers in this new category of whiskey, and it quickly gained a reputation for excellence. Over the years, the Balvenie distillery has continued to innovate. In 1971, they introduced a double maturation process where the whiskey is matured in 2 different types of casks. That's interesting. They continue to use locally sourced ingredients and traditional methods, and the whiskey is still matured in the same warehouses where it was laid down over a century ago.
That is awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Yes.
Same warehouse.
Same warehouse.
I love that.
That is awesome.
I love that consistency.
Yes.
Which means you probably get consistent flavor because it's in the same location.
Right. This has that history to
Yeah.
it. That nobility. I keep saying that with Scotch. Nobility.
Yeah. The Balvenie Caribbean Cask 14-year-old single malt whiskey has been matured in traditional oak whiskey casks for 14 years and then finished in casks that previously held Caribbean rum. So what we can kind of expect from this, right, it's going to be kind of sweet vanilla, honey, probably some tropical fruits, caramel, one time, thankfully, passion fruit. Oak, red apple, sweet and spicy. And now I know a lot of that fruit flavor is coming from that really nice Caribbean rum.
I'm giving you the evil eye.
You're never living that one down, dude. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right, I think
I said we get kicked into this, man.
So okay, so one more time in the profiles.
All right, so we should get a little bit of like some sweet vanilla, honey, maybe some tropical fruits right on the nose. Right,
honey, tropical fruits, definitely.
Yeah. And then when we sip on it, we're going to get some caramel, some passion fruit, oak, red apple, sweetness. That sweetness might be carryover from the nose.
The spicy's there though, for sure.
Spice.
But that apple, that fruit, the caramel. Oh, that's tasty. Oh, this is why it's really good. Yeah, this is why it's one of my favorites of all time.
So, like, even though it is spicy. And there is a very light, in my opinion, touch of smoke. Like, it's super down in there. It's probably part of the spiciness.
Yeah, I'm not getting that smoke. Maybe you're. I believe you're getting it. I'm not getting that smoke. I'm getting the spicy for sure.
Yeah,
it stays in your tongue, but man,
But it goes away really quick.
It does.
It's like it's there, and then it's
the spice stays in my tongue a little bit, but it's not like bad. Like it's, and all the flavors are like just there. All that vanilla. Even a little toffee. I'm getting a little hint of toffee in there too.
As was joked about the other day, maybe some marzipan.
Yes, we were at our favorite bar. We're talking to the bartender, a locale place, and he was hosting a show where he was talking about that, and they just kind of used the word marzipan as like a key for a joke. But this is so tasty.
This is really good.
So I told the listeners last week I would give them a little report on the Sunfest. And if you saw my posts on Instagram,
He had a great time.
I had an awesome, maybe too much of a good time, but it wasn't that bad. I heard I got really mixed reviews from people who went to the date to Friday and Saturday. Look, it was definitely young there. A lot of youngins wanting to run around, and I'll tell you, some of those girls half naked. I don't get it. And when I was 15, I don't remember them dressing like that.
They didn't. They did.
But overall, had a great time. 311 was awesome. Got some good food. The drinks were expensive, so luckily I followed Vivian, our friend Viv, who was on the show. I took her advice and brought Percy juice.
Okay.
But I didn't have a purse. Let's be very clear about that.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Was it a fanny pack?
No, yeah, fanny pack, absolutely.
Fanny juice?
But I had smuggled in some Evan Williams Bottled and Bond.
All right. That's a classic. I like that.
I brought 8 ounces of that in, and then I had 2 packs of these pre-made old fashions I got from Total Wine, and they're from Italy. All right. And they're actually quite tasty. So if you ever,
I think I've actually had one of those.
I think I made you drink one because I was like, wow, these are actually better than I thought they would be.
And they were pretty good.
And they have them on Total Wine. So if you ever need you want to go somewhere but you don't want to make your drinks, those are actually bad to have, and they're very easy to carry. And if you want to smuggle, they're great for smuggling.
Well, because it literally is just a little package, a little plastic pouch.
But overall, it wasn't a bad time at Sunfest. Yeah. The music was awesome. 311 was awesome, and the killers were awesome.
I know one of the main concerns that we had been brought up by multiple people was the fact that because they had so few things to do, crowds would kind of focus in certain areas and crowd it.
It did. So I didn't go out to the floating bars because that's where everyone was kind of congregating. Because it's true. We got there 3 o'clock, closer to 4, and if I would have got there earlier, I could see me getting bored. Where because they had the vendor people, giving out the swag and all that, but within an hour you're pretty much done with that, right? Yeah. And then you're just sitting there chilling out and just drinking, and you just got to find a spot to hang. If you wanted to park at one of the stages and just stay there all day, you could do that. But I could see where if you're there all day, I could see it getting boring, or you get bored and just nothing to do.
Yeah, because now you can't walk around and do stuff.
Right, because when I would go, you'd walk to that art area 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
because you'd find something different or see something different each time. It was just something to do.
Yeah.
So, and I did like that it was a smaller venue, so I wasn't walking as much too. It's kind of weird. I missed the walking, but didn't miss the walking at the same time. So it was interesting.
All right.
It was a good show. I had a good time.
I'm still okay that I didn't go.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I have a bone to pick with my phone.
Cool.
Because you know what? I don't know what my phone's problem is. I have never been ducked up. I have never ducked anybody. I have never been mother ducking. All right. And I don't know how many times I've corrected that to the correct word. And I'm sure it has its own personal AI in there. And it's not even saying, well, this guy doesn't do ducks, he fucks. Because
that was so funny.
Because poor T.I., I started blowing his phone up at one point, and I was using a lot of ducking, apparently.
There were so many ducks.
It was ducks were everywhere, man. And, if you saw my post at the bar, we went to Hullabaloo, the guy was a great bartender. And I'm trying to text Travis, T.I., some stuff, and it was just and I was being very, trying to use that word, and it was replacing the duck. But I've done it over the years. I've done it so many times. I'm like, how does it not know?
I think it just doesn't want you to swear.
I don't know.
I think Apple's just controlling your.
But I've never ducked.
Use profanity.
Duck you.
Duck you too. Go duck yourself.
So I had to get it off my chest. I'm glad it's off my chest now. I just wanted, So ducks were everywhere apparently during.
So many ducks
during the.
There's at least 40.
Sunfest, and I marked our territory in multiple places, by the way.
Oh, nice.
So I brought 4 stickers and I put them strategically all over West Palm Beach.
Hey, now if you're cruising around West Palm Beach and you see one of our stickers, make sure you give us a shout out on Instagram.
Yeah, post it. Take a picture of it, post it. Take a picture with you next to it or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Play like a game.
Yeah, be like
Find the Frisky Whiskey sticker.
Where in the world is the Frisky Whiskey?
So, there was, there was a lot of good looking women there. Yeah. Young and old. Of course there were. There was this one woman. And look, I have nothing against tattoos. I don't mind, but when people use their entire body as a canvas, I'm not into that personally. I'm saying anything wrong with it. I'll be very clear. But it was a really good looking woman, and then she was very healthy. Okay, she was very healthy. She had nice size, but she'd wearing this low cut thing, and it was all covered with tats. And I'm like, I just wasn't into. I'm like, well, I don't want to have artwork on there. For me personally, like, I feel like I get tested afterwards. Like, how'd you like my Picasso? I was like, oh, I thought it was Dolly. It was moving around so much, It was just like I was looking at her. She's a beautiful woman, but tats. I mean, covered.
I mean, hey.
And people are into that. I am not against it. It's just not for me. I'm not into it personally. Yeah. There's a tat here or there, a little tramp stamp. Sure, why not? But
Mike D's got a tramp stamp.
I do. I have 2 of them actually. It's messed up, man. The front and back. Picturing that out there. Get that picture in your mind.
Please
let it
don't
go
do
out.
it. Don't do it.
All right, let's move on to our second taste of Balvenie with a little ice.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yes. So now I did try this with a little bit of ice before,
right? Because you dipped into this, which I don't blame you. I would if there's no way I could have bought something like this, like me at the Dalmore, and not
actually tried it.
Yeah, not actually tried it. It's impossible.
Well, especially after we had talked about it, Mike D was like, "You tried this before."
I like your jigger better than my jigger, by the way. It's got that little lip.
Yeah, nice for pouring. But yeah, so Mike D was telling me that I'd had it at his house, and I don't recall ever having this.
You have.
But there's also, anytime I go over to Mike D's house, it's usually whiskey filled and shenanigans filled
and food filled
and food. So
Speaking of food, we had some good food tonight.
You did.
You did good. You did a good job.
Yeah. Shout out to Patty Max.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's simple Irish food, man. Yes. It really is. And honestly, anything smoked is going to go well with Scotch, right?
Yes.
And so I figured, out of the 2 items they had a smoked fish dip, but we did smoke fish dip last weekend, right? So I made that smoked salmon, so I didn't want to repeat. So I did basically just a smoked salmon, I don't know what it's like a fillet, right? And then you have, the capers and the cream cheese and the onion and all that stuff. And then they have this thing called the pint of sausage.
Yeah, those are good.
They're little tiny, things, right? But they're super flavorful. They're smoked well, and then they come with the Coleman's mustard, which is super kicky in the face.
Yep, nice and spicy. You got to hit there, and then you have a honey mustard or a Dijon mustard.
Yeah, it's a Dijon mustard.
Yeah. So and then I also brought a little extra too. I brought some Spanish chorizo.
Yep.
And some smoked provolone. So it was and we had a little snippet of something before the show. We enjoyed a little Glenlivet 15-year-old.
Yeah, I had to pick that one up. That's the French Reserve.
Yeah. Wow, that went really well. Any of these whiskeys, oh my God, I said bourbon. Any of these scotches, and that particular Glen was perfect with the food.
Yeah,
it really does go good with that smoke, like you said, the smoke flavor from the salmon, the sausages, the chorizo, all that was just perfect combination for Scotch.
It really was.
I mean, that or haggis. You got to go either one of the directions there. So we went the other direction.
Yeah,
thank God.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can get haggis here legally.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I actually think it's banned.
So with the ice, man. That really gets good. It really does. It actually, the spicy mellows out. Mm-hmm. The spicy really mellows out. And then more of that, like I said, the vanilla. I'm still getting toffee. A little bit of apples in there, that fruit. This is just so tasty, man. Ugh.
Yeah, this is one of those whiskeys that I find, it may be just because I don't have enough experience drinking a ton of different ones.
Right.
But for the most part, this is like one of those whiskeys where it held that spice.
Yeah.
Right, which is nice. Usually, you put something in there, the spice is gone. I kind of want the spice while all the other sweet flavors come to the front.
It's a little bit there. It's still there, but it's not as heavy and on my tongue like it was. Like this is now it's getting that nice, just going down easy, nice easy drink. And for summertime on ice, this would be good.
This would be really good.
Because it's got that sweetness to it.
Good thing it's summertime here all the time, right?
It's hot. It's hot today.
Means we could drink this all the time. Might hit your wallet a little bit hard. I mean, it's the cheapest whiskey out there.
No, it's not. No, you got this at a total. You got.
No,
this
I got this. I did this at Costco. So I want to preface, right? So I went to Costco and I got this for $88.99. So $89. That's a good price.
I feel it's a good fair price,
but then on Wednesday, Mike D and I headed over to ABC to kind of check out what was released in the vault, as well as kind of start planning shows. Whatever we do that occasionally.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we came across the exact same bottle for $80.
Yes, that caught me off guard.
Yeah, and granted, it was on sale.
Was it on sale?
Yeah, they had a sale, but it was also it still. I don't think the sale price was
as much as if not on sale, still probably cheaper than Costco, which is unusual.
Right,
and then It was the same price at Total Wine. It was still, it was still cheaper at Total Wine than it was at Costco.
Yeah.
I forgot it was
like 85.
Yeah, it was like $3 cheaper. But still, though, I would think Costco, who buys like
I mean, there was like a whole pallet of this stuff just sitting there. So yeah, no, I found that interesting. But I mean, hey, I'm not complaining for $89. This is still
this is still well worth it. You guys, you have somebody who likes Scotch and you really like them. Yeah. You know, someone close to you and they're having a birthday party, you'd get them a bottle of this.
Absolutely, why not?
This is really good. Or get it for yourself. Treat yourself, man.
Hey, it's just something that's going to be sticking in my closet. You know, and every time I feel like having some Scotch.
Yeah, this
probably
this
the
one.
Well, that or the 15.
Yeah, you don't.
But it's probably this one.
Like you don't sit here and kill that in one.
Oh
night,
heck no.
Or,
I mean, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah,
if you got a group of people and everyone's enjoying it, I wouldn't care.
I'd still put it away after the first one. Like I got other ones we can drink. Don't worry.
Like get out of here.
No, other ones. Just like the first taste. We're gonna go back. Then we're gonna go down. You know, but no, this is so tasty.
This is really good.
So I went and saw that Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It is awesome.
It's on my list of things to watch.
You know, I know some of the Marvel movies bomb a little bit, and good job. They nailed it from start to finish, man. It was so good.
That's awesome.
They did such a good job. And
I mean, I've liked the other two.
Yeah,
like I've genuinely liked
awesome.
them.
Yes.
Like they're fun and they're comedic. It's kind of like a good story.
And there's always good music through the whole
Of course,
thing.
it's like, is it still like the 80s like rock and the 90s rock type?
Oh yeah. Well, they did a couple of Beastie Boys.
Oh heck
Two different Beastie. They did No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Okay.
Which is one of my favorite all time songs. And
that's why you like it so
they
much.
did the Intergalactic. But it was just good timing, you know. And they had a little Space Hog on there, and they jumped back to some 70s and 80s too. Okay. So it was good, like a good mix of music, but really good.
Whoever does the music for those
that
movies.
Music,
they kill it every time.
And being a comic book geek from the late 70s until like the mid 80s, they do a good job in keeping up with some of the stories the right way or doing the characters the right way. So this one was about the bad guy was high evolutionary. They did a good job kind of showing who he is and his character. They did a good job with it. And you learn a lot about Rocket, which I thought was really cool.
I saw like a...
Because this one's trying about Rocket. This one's really about Rocket, which is kind of cool.
Well, Rocket deserves a spotlight. Right. But also I did see like a little trailer and it was like an extended one and it kind of teased, you know, some stuff about Rocket.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job. So go see that movie. I highly suggest it. I haven't been to a movie theater in, I don't know, since before COVID. Yeah. So for me it was nice because like they changed the chairs. They actually have like real recliners. You know,
it's like they took the time to revamp the movie theaters when everyone was gone.
Almost like like the table that goes across your seat, and I mean, it's like the recliners with the buttons. Like you don't have to even do anything; you hit the button, like, and you can control how high your legs go up. It was cool, so I really enjoyed it.
Recline, you can't even see the movie.
Yeah, exactly. If I went all the way back, I would have fell asleep. Man. Put me in a dark room anytime. Man. I'm like, all right,
it's bedtime. Indeed. So now it's time to rinse these fellers out.
Give me a pour there, sir.
There you go.
Thank you. So now we're bringing in the Spaniard.
All right. So what's up with the Spaniard? Now we've had Compass Box,
and you've had this too at my house, believe it or not, because this will be the third or fourth one I've bought now over the last.
I've had like some really good ones.
You've had the Juvenile. And the Myth and Legends, which I tried getting, and they're sold out right now. I can't find it anywhere.
That makes sense.
And those are more, well, you know what? Hit me off in there real quick, too.
Yeah.
Those are a little more harder to find. They're a little more like released only certain times of the year and so much. But Comic Box has a good story, which I'm going to talk about. Let me just pour first so I don't do like I did with that one the other night with Viv, and I completely missed the whole thing.
As funny as it was sad.
It's like Scotch abuse, man. Like whiskey abuse.
It's like, just giving the world its share.
But this Scotch doesn't have the history and nobility, right?
Yeah.
But it has an interesting story.
Well, it's still younger, right?
It's a newer player in the field in the Scotch world, right? But, so what Compass Box is? So back in 2000, John Glaser, who was working for a large UK distiller, marketing director for Johnny Walker. And I looked into this a little bit. He actually had learned distilling from the distiller masters while he was there. And here's some interesting information. He was also the only American to ever work for Johnny Walker at the time.
Interesting.
At the time. When he realized there was so much that they hadn't yet explored in the world of Scotch whiskey, an American living in London, he decided to do something refreshingly different and bring the joys of Scotch whiskey to more people in exciting ways. Okay. So he started Compass Box. innovative company based on a long-lost model of Scotch whiskey blending, but with a forward-looking approach and an underlying desire to create deliciousness.
I like
Originally,
deliciousness.
working from his kitchen, Collins Box has grown over the years and now has 2 dedicated blending rooms in London and also have their own stocks of maturing whiskeys in Scotland.
Okay.
So he started doing these things, and he started pairing up with different, more of the micro distiller guys, like the smaller places in Scotland, and working with them. So the Spaniard is whiskeys aged in Spanish wine casks. The name is a nod to John Glaser's a chance encounter with a man in south of Spain, where he was introduced to sherry for the first time. So that's how he came up with the idea of aging his Spaniard in sherry casks.
All right, so so it's kind of like, I mean, that's good. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, so it's literally taking a trip around that area, right? You're going from Scotland over to
Spain. And then he met this guy. It's like, oh shit, I never had sherry before. And then he got into it and said, wow, I want to do something with this in Scotch.
All right.
So it's pretty cool. And on their website, they had a suggested cocktail for this.
Yeah.
And remember, we were talking about, like, I don't really know a lot of cocktails for Scotch, and I don't, I'm scared to do it sometimes. But this one, it's just doing a highball with ginger ale, so 2-ounce whiskey topped with chilled ginger ale in a highball glass.
I mean, whiskey and ginger ale.
I bet you it's going to be a nice, refreshing type of drink. So our flavor profiles are going to be orange, dried cherry, chocolate, vanilla, cake, almonds, raisin, and raisin toasted and spicy.
I can definitely get some orange.
Yeah, definitely get some orange.
That's good. I like
The
that.
almonds or that raisin, that dried fruit.
Wow.
That is so good. Oh, that is so. So I'm definitely getting the almond. I'm definitely getting that.
The almond's the sweetness.
Yeah, the sweetness. That between the raisin and the dried cherry, I'm just gonna say it's some type of dried fruit.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that. I don't know if I'm getting chocolate yet. Hold on, let me hit this one more.
I am at the very end. The very end is there. It's there. In my opinion.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. The chocolate's there. The vanilla's there. I mean, this is tasty. And this goes for about $56 a bottle. You can get it at Total Wine.
Okay.
I happen to get this one off my my whiskey club because I already had it set up there to pre-purchase because I bought it so many times now. It's just there. But this is a really good, and the story's kind of cool.
I like the story.
Because it's a new player who came from Johnny Walker and he was an American.
Yeah.
So it's taking a different approach to making these whiskeys.
It's American Scotch.
Yeah. Well, kinda.
I mean, the American who started it.
Okay.
It's American Scotch.
American Scotch in Scotland.
Yeah.
Surprised he's not dead yet.
Well, maybe it's just because he produces a really good product and it's respected. Yeah. I think that's probably what it is more than anything.
So I was talking about that because I remember the story. I was talking about the tattoos, and so back in the '90s, living in West Palm Beach, you partied a lot and you went to gentleman clubs a lot in West Palm. If you lived in West Palm, you know what I'm talking about. You either start your night at a gentleman's club, go to your clubs downtown. 2 a.m. the clubs close. The gentlemen's clubs are open until 5 a.m. So it's like the after hours clubs. And it wasn't just guys going there. It was men and women hanging out, partying, right? So one of my nights there, I was at T's Lounge. Okay, and this place is still there. It's called something else. It's right by the airport.
Okay.
It's at the end of Congress, where Congress ends where the airport is.
Yep.
Okay. And T's Lounge was very popular back in that time. It was the place to do that and Spearmint Rhino were the two places you really went to after the clubs. And partied out afterwards. And so I was getting entertained, if you will, by a lovely lady that night, and getting my dance and all that. And she had some tats, right? It wasn't crazy tats, but had tats. But she had these 2 tats, okay, both on the inner part of her thighs, one on each side, and really close to her hoo-hoo, if you will. If you know what hoo-hoo is. And on one side, it was a palm tree on an island with a bird. And the other side was a scene of a sunset. And I'm like, is your hoo-hoo on vacation or something? And she actually told me why she did that. I'm not going to tell the story here on the show.
Well, that's all that build up for nothing. Then.
Well, I mean, it was something that she had a girlfriend.
Okay.
And it was something that her and her girlfriend had done, and had some meaning for
Gotcha.
her. Yeah, so that was a good story for me, and I got an extra dance because of that, probably. But it was just really interesting. It was just because it was just so close to each other. I was like, is your hoo-hoo on vacation? I was just like, but Tees Lounge back in the day, my listeners who lived back in the day in the 90s in West Palm, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because that was part of your scene. It was, yes. That was it was a thing.
It was a wilder time back then.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do. I'm sure they still do that now, because those places are still up until 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's still the after hours place. I don't go out that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive. Very positive. All right, let's do a little icy ice here now. Oh man, this is such a good show. Oh, I'm so glad we're doing Scotch. I really, really am.
We needed to get one in.
We're gonna do another one soon too. Probably gonna hit into more of the Smokies because of who we think we might have on our show. Yes. And I think it's going to be a really fun show. I know we talked about when we were going to do it last night, but last night, we had a couple of cocktails, and things got a little foggy for me too last night. So I know we're going to do it in the next couple of shows. We got to figure it out, but it's going to happen sooner than later.
We actually have some really cool stuff that we plan on kind of implementing for the podcast here over the next probably month or so.
Yeah,
so,
unleashing, if you will.
Yes, be sure to keep following along with us as we expand, and maybe or maybe not have some swag that maybe or maybe not would
be available to our listeners.
If you're interested.
If you're interested in some cool swag.
It is pretty cool.
If you've seen our logo, we have a cool logo.
It is a badass logo.
It is a cool logo. Shout out to Evan one more time. We always got to give a shout out. Every time we talk about that logo, we got to give a shout out to Evan.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you, Evan.
All right, so now we got the ice in the Spaniard. Well, icy Spaniard.
Icy Spaniard. That alone could be a cocktail. What do you think?
Spice went away. And I'm definitely getting more of the almond, the raisins, the cake, the vanilla, the chocolate is really coming out now. All those sweet flavors are coming out.
So for me, the spice went. I don't know, like when I'm tasting something, right? I kind of swirl it around at the front, and as I drink it, whatever section is like of my tongue is like catching the thing, the essence, right? So for me, the spice went all the way at the bottom. Usually, it was like at the top, like. Bam, all the way across the flavor profile. Heaviness at
the end there, but I'm barely getting any.
It's like right on the bottom.
I'm just getting all those other flavors, man. The dried fruits, the toasted's there a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, no,
this is really good.
Those really subtle sweet flavors are coming out. I like this a lot.
This is really good. This is why it's one of my favorites as well too.
Now, so I know they suggest doing it with like cold ginger ale. I don't know if I want to ruin it with ginger ale.
I don't know if I'd make a cocktail with this. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is just like, to me.
I mean, I guess I would try it once.
Yeah,
it's only 2 ounces, so it's like
it's not wasting it. You'll drink it either way.
Yeah.
Maybe don't knock it till you try it type of thing too. But I just because I like this and I like the way this tastes and the flavor is just so good.
I wonder if they have like a preferred ginger ale that would go well. Like something that, like,
I did mention it when I was looking at the recipe.
Canadian dry or something.
Canada dry.
Yeah, Canadian dry.
But this, like, true. I wouldn't use like Publix's ginger ale. I wouldn't use that. Like, I'd get like a Schweppes or Seagram's ginger ale,
or Canadian dry,
Canadian dry. That sounds weird. It sounds so weird. Canadian dry.
You have to add ginger ale. Canadian dry ginger ale.
And I want to give a shout out real quick to my Heat and to my Panthers. Yeah. Panthers last night had a little controversial goal situation last night, but you know what?
They should have lost.
Whatever. They won. and the Heat held off New York at the end.
I'm indifferent.
So I'm really happy the two Florida teams.
Panthers should have lost.
Be quiet. The two Florida teams that go duck yourself. Should have.
Panthers.
Ducking Panthers, right? Two South Florida teams are in the conference finals at the same time. That's really cool. It's good for Florida. Good for us. I may try to hit a basketball game during the playoffs. Take my daughter to the basketball game.
Pretty cool.
She'll have a good time. I know she'll have a good time with that because she's getting ready to be done with school, so I can take her out late on a weeknight or something like that. Won't even matter. But it was good. I'm really happy that happened last night. So, shout out to my South Florida teams.
Even if Panthers didn't deserve it.
Duck running across the street.
There's ducks everywhere.
Like, this is so good. Like the Balvenie, a different level, right? But this is so good. Like, I could put this in a fight with Balvenie, right? We're not looking for winners tonight.
No,
All these are going to be winners, right? But I'm just saying, like, this is really good for $59.
Yeah.
This is, once again, you want to give somebody a unique gift, something that's not as known as the Balvenies and the Johnny Walkers of the world. Compass boxes,
I have never been disappointed by a single Compass Box product that I've ever tried.
Yeah, and
literally have never.
You heard me mention the juvenile. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's called Juveniles.
Yeah,
that's the one. That one's $180 a bottle. Well worth it. Like, you're gonna be happy. And then the Myth and Legends are about $120 a bottle. And once again, you're gonna be very happy. You're not gonna be upset. You just dropped that money.
Yeah.
But that's one of those ones. Like, the Juveniles would last 6 months in my closet, in my cabinet, whatever you want to call it. And the Myths and Legends, too. Like, I was upset I couldn't get both of those. So I would have bought one of those.
Yeah.
So I picked up some, actually, I ordered some more bourbon from the Whiskey Club.
All right.
Picked up a bottle of rye that will probably be on the Battle of Ryes. It's a South Carolina rye that I've had before. And you've had it before, too?
Probably.
You have? At my house, you had this one before. It's really good. And then I picked up a bourbon that I've never had. It was a suggested gifts for Dad, for Father's Day coming up.
So
in
you're
June.
just, buying yourself your Father's Day gift.
Absolutely. That's what that was my justification when I was doing this ordering. And it was called Chicken Cock. Bourbon, which I've never heard of it, but apparently Chicken Cock has been going around for a long time.
We're 12.
Chicken cocks and ducks everywhere, man. But it has a good story, and it's going to be on the show. I'm going to definitely bring that one on the show and be something interesting to try. But it definitely has a little story behind it. It's been around.
All right.
So it's not like something that's just like being made right in the last 10 years. One's been around. So we'll have a little story.
I think I've heard the name. I don't think I've ever tried it.
I just love the name. I mean, if Viv was having a fun time with Dickel, then she'd have a really fun time with Chicken Cock.
It would be nonstop.
Yes, Chicken Cock. All right. So now let's move on to the next one.
Come on, let me give you a little rinsey-roo.
Rinsey, and you go a little rinsey on the on the jigger there.
As long as everything's good and rinsed.
So we're moving on to the Johnny Walker Celebratory, and this one was kind of a.
Now I am interested, right? So now I've had Johnny Walker, and Johnny Walker to me is kind of like, it's around. I don't mind it. I like it. It's not my go-to.
No, not at all.
Right? Because there's enough other things out there that are unique.
Yes. And a lot of Johnny Walkers are smoky.
Yeah.
The double black, the black, the red. Yeah. The green, not so much. The blue's not smoky, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I had the blue.
But I didn't know about the celebratory.
No.
Right? So this is like a whole kind of a thing. So, again, this happened on Wednesday when Mike D and I went over to ABC. And, we went to ABC and, hunting around, and was like, we weren't finding something, right? There was something that we were.
We weren't happy we were getting.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? They have a glass cabinet, right? And I was like, let's just see what's in there.
Yeah.
And so, we're poking around, and I see this guy sitting there and marked down from $81 or $82 to $44.
Yes.
I was like, we should just get this on principle.
Yeah, and we did. And you know what? We're throwing it on a show tonight.
Because why not? Right?
That's probably why we have 4 tonight. I think that was an extra.
Oh yeah, this wasn't a plan. This wasn't a planned thing. No. It's just like, how are you going to turn down something that's basically 50% off? Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
Right. And it was in the glass cabinet.
Yeah.
So we got to do this.
Yeah. So a whiskey we've never tried before.
So let me do a little history on Johnny Walker. So and this is the whole Johnny Walker history. So Johnny Walker whiskey began in 1819 in Killarney, Scotland. Johnny Walker, the son of a farmer, opened a grocery store in the town which sold sold a range of goods, including tea, coffee, spices, and whiskey. It was during this time when John began experimenting with blending different whiskeys together to create unique and consistent flavors. John's son, Alexander, inherited the grocery store and continued his father's legacy. In 1867, Alexander began using the iconic square bottle and label design that is still used today.
As you can see.
He also introduced the brand's first color-coded labels, distinguished the different brands based on their strengths and flavors. So we were just talking about the black, the double black. So that's kind of cool. In 1909, Johnny Walker was awarded a royal warrant by King Edward VII, which allowed the brand to use the words "by appointment by Her Majesty the Queen."
Oh, that's pretty cool.
On its labels. The endorsement helped to establish Johnny Walker as prestigious and premium brand. You looking at it?
Well, I know it's on the box. I don't know if it's on here. Yeah, it is.
The brand's reputation for quality and consistency continued to grow and has become the best-selling Scotch whiskey in the world. Which makes sense. It's everywhere.
It's right there. A little sticker.
Look at that.
It says, by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen Scotch Whiskey Distillers.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
So the celebratory brings back the tradition from 200 years ago, from one of the original recipes. The blend's unique strength is similar to their old Highland whiskey sold during that era. So the taste we're going to be dealing with here is sweet dried raisins, spice, marzipan.
There it
is.
Hey.
Roasted nuts, icing sweetness, gentle peat, which makes sense because Johnny's most of their whiskeys to smoke, and then a soft pepper. Soft pepper.
What the hell is a soft pepper?
I don't know what that means. That's what was on there, man. That's from their site.
Can't you just say
pepper?
Light pepper or pepper?
Pepper? Light pepper, but soft pepper.
Soft.
I don't know what soft pepper is.
I want that soft pepper.
I don't know.
I'm going to go to a restaurant and order some soft pepper.
It's can I have that with soft pepper?
Can you hook that dish up with some soft pepper?
So the smell right away is...
Oh, I can smell smoky.
Yeah, definitely peaty. The peaty's kind of taking over my nose right now. Let me clear my nose out real quick. That raisin, that dried fruits there. Marzipan's everywhere.
Wow. Okay, that's actually really good. I like that a lot.
Okay, so the peaty I get in my nose, not as much in my mouth, which is a good thing for me. But wow. This is impressive. This is really, really good.
This is freaking awesome.
Wow, this is not what I was expecting. This is
all right. Hello, Johnny Walker.
Light on the spice. I don't know about this pepper thing, but the nuts, the icing sweetness, that's that sweetness that you're getting out of this.
It's almost
and marzipan. Look, marzipan is it's an almond paste, so that's a sweet thing too. So the icing and the marzipan, that's all the sweetness. Once again, I don't know if I want to call out dried raisin, but it has that dried dark fruit taste to me. This is really good. This is I didn't know what to expect.
Either.
And I am
honestly kind of in my
pleasantly surprised here.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of thinking probably entry level Johnny is what I was thinking.
Oh, interesting.
Because I didn't know anything, right? I was I'd never tried it before,
right?
Well, so I was just
Well, because I did the history and they said they brought back a recipe from 200 years ago, I figured it was gonna have. Actually, I thought it was gonna be more bold, and this isn't really bold. This is very. To me, it's gentle, it's subtle. It's not boom. This is Johnny Walker in your face right now. But this is something that the Queen or King George or whoever, King Edward, probably drank back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. It's not, actually it's 1909. So going back to 1819 when they started making this, this is maybe Dad's original recipe to a certain degree.
Dad's original.
Why not? Right?
It's true.
I mean, this is tasty, man.
I like this a lot.
So I don't know if you can get this for the price point we got it for. It's funny. I should have looked into it when I was doing my research. How much is it? A total wine? How much is it at?
We didn't. Well, I didn't see it. I kind of poked around for it.
Oh, you did? You look?
Yeah.
I didn't look.
Well, I looked because when we found that this one was wildly different pricing,
you were curious.
I started looking for this one. I even started looking for the Glenlivet 15 because I was like, what the heck? Kind of deal did I not get?
Right.
And I couldn't find this one.
Okay.
I just didn't see it there.
So I'm going to say you're probably now. Look, what we've learned recently too is not any one place is priced 100% correctly.
Yeah.
Where like Costco is higher on this than the other two places, and vice versa. There's some things that have been higher at one and lower at the other, and you would expect to be different.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I would think that Total Wine Mate would have the better price than other places.
What I feel like is we got this for MSRP. That's what I feel like we did.
I think we did, yeah.
We didn't get the markup version.
I mean, if you have a Johnny Walker fan and you want to get him a gift and you see this, grab this.
This is awesome.
Grab this for them.
Yeah,
because this will,
awesome.
They probably never tried it or don't know about it.
I honestly wouldn't have been upset if I had to pay $80 for this. I wouldn't have been upset about it.
This is definitely worth $80.
44. Like I'm never gonna get that deal again.
No,
I'm gonna baby this bottle because I'm never gonna find that deal.
Yeah, no, this is like this is worth baby. Man, this is really good.
Yeah, I like this.
You know, and like Johnny Walker people, to my knowledge, once you like a color, you stay in that color. Like if you're a Johnny Walker red guy, you don't drink anything else but red. Right, you don't, and you don't bring other ones into your cabinet. From what I've learned from my knowledge of Johnny Walker, so
that's interesting.
If you had someone like that, I'd get them this and throw them a curveball. You need to try this.
I don't know, but if they're that stubborn,
yeah, but it's still Johnny Walker. Like
I just like how light the peatiness is.
Yes.
It's so freaking light. It's like you can know it's there.
It's more in my nose. Like I'm saying the peat's in my nose,
but it's not heavy. I like this a lot.
It's almost barely there. I mean, this is. I'd get a bottle of this for my cabinet. Absolutely.
Thank you, Johnny Walker.
Yeah, you know, Johnny,
we're celebrating with you on this.
Yeah,
one.
this is good. Good job. Good job. Touche. Golf clap. Because like I said, I was. I don't know, concern's the right word, but you know.
That's the thing, though, is like I thought I was just gonna be indifferent to this one.
Yeah, and you know what?
But I'm actually so impressed with this one. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow, I am very, very impressed with this.
I love it when a plan comes together.
No, this was good. This is a nice surprise. Glad we're doing 4 bottles tonight.
I know it's usually, we usually do 3, but Mike D and I you've been planning on this for a little bit. We've been figuring out which ones, building up the repertoire.
I think I gave you a little bit too much. I gotta catch up to you real quick.
Don't blame me.
Blame the guy pouring. There we go. Because this I don't mind have a little extra of, actually. Like this is really, really good.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were trying to figure out which ones we were doing, right? So, I had purchased the Balvenie for my private collection. That was never episode intended.
Right.
That was like, but when you were talking about doing a Scotch episode, that's when I was like, well, I have it. We may as well.
Yeah, man, as well. Yeah.
Like, why not? It's here. It's here, and I like drinking
it's funny,
it.
like to say it's for my private collection when we're doing a show like this. Like, you just bring out whatever you want to bring out, and we need to start doing that. We're making our list right now. We're actually taking a stock of our stuff. Which I'm not done with my part.
It's ridiculous.
Yet. And we need to start pulling out the stuff that we haven't bought for the show that we've already been in our collection or ones that are private. We need to start bringing it because look, we're not like drinking a lot anyway. Yeah.
And a lot of this, and I do say, our collection because, independently, there's times where I'll just go to the packy and I'll be like, hey, that bottle looks good. Yeah. And I just pick it up for myself and then I'll be like, yo, Mike D, this shit's awesome. Right. Yeah. Like, we need to, do something with this.
What was that bourbon we had last night? Putnam?
That stuff is so good.
That was, if you guys go out there.
Putnam out of Boston. Dorchester.
Okay.
Right. So, they're Boston based.
Okay.
Right. And it was their master distiller was actually the co-founder of Sam Adams.
Yes. Yeah, there's a woman.
Yeah.
She got into this whole whiskey thing now, which is which everyone knows. Heard me say I'm all about that. But this Putnam bourbon was amazing. We tried the Putnam rye. He gave us a little taste.
The Putnam bourbon was the one we got a little taster of. The rye is what made our old fashioned.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, the rye was old fashioned, was so freaking good.
Okay,
and the bourbon is what we got a little.
Oh, because that was really good too. Yeah, I was really impressed with it. With those,
and then they pulled out another one, which
we didn't try that one.
Was it their
it was a certain type of rye? It was a select rye or something like that, or a prohibition rye. I forgot what it was.
It was something very specific. It was something very specific, but it was really good.
It was very good. Yeah, I love our guys at Locale. Yeah, and they love us too, which is nice.
Always hooking us up. Teaching us things, showing us stuff.
I'm going to say this doesn't really change very much with the ice. maybe a little more sweeter, but like I don't think I'm drinking something too much different here.
PD left the nose.
Yeah,
went to
that's
the,
one
went
thing.
to the palate.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me make sure I'm not.
Yeah, it went from the nose to the palate. That's good though. Like it's super light. It's at the very end.
At the very end.
Very end. Like just
Yes.
wait for it. Yep, it's right there. It's
Especially
just like
when you push the whiskey into the top of your mouth like that.
just like a.
Yeah.
That's, no, this is really good on ice. I actually really like this on ice.
I like this on ice too. This is definitely one I'd probably lean towards on ice a little bit more than the neat for me personally. This is me personally, where I think like the Balvenie, I'd probably lean a little.
Well,
bit
you get the roasted nuts on with it on ice.
Yes, yeah, that roasted that is definitely coming out. I totally agree with that.
That's nice. I like this a lot.
Yeah, the whole soft pepper thing, I don't know what it's about.
It's pepper that's been softened.
This is really good. Like this is a pleasant find.
It is.
This really was unexpected and pleasant.
I think this actually, dare I say, makes my like top 10 list.
It's in there now. I agree. I've totally
think
like
this is in my top
I
10.
would go out and buy this. And I plan on buying this. I want to shop this one around a little bit, see what I can get locally if I can pick it up or if
Bro, check out ABC before maybe the deal's still going on. You can get another one for $40.
I'll run by there tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe you can get another one for $40. It's only been a few days.
True.
Usually those things are on for like a week.
Yeah.
Assuming there's any left, because that's such a damn good deal.
good.
It was
Yeah,
like
that's a good-
50%.
yeah.
It was like 45% off. It was ridiculous. But no, I like this one a lot. I like the fact that the flavor complexity, while it changes neat to ice, like it doesn't dull anything. All of the complexity is still there. I like this a lot. I'm surprised. Like I'm actually amazed that this is this good. No offense to Johnny Walker.
No, yeah. I mean, because we're acting like Johnny Walker's like swill. I'm like, oh my god, this
It's
is
not.
amazing.
It's not. But
No,
like
it's
I've
not.
had Johnny Walker and I've had like the
I'm just not a
regular
fan.
stuff.
Yeah,
and it's never been my thing.
Because like I said, most of the stuff is smoky. So I'm not a big smoky guy in general.
Either of us are.
And I like I've always felt Johnny Walker Blue was a bit overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt that. People go crazy over Johnny Walker Blue, and it's a good whiskey, but
got a name.
I can find whiskeys that can compete against it cheaper.
Yeah.
So although we have found recently the Johnny Walker Rye, which is like $23 a bottle or $25 a bottle,
Super
which
good.
is go get that if you're a rye person. It is amazing.
The high rise, awesome.
Absolutely
I think we've
amazing.
called it American rye in the past, but
I don't think this is American rye.
it's not an American rye.
But it
It's
has to be
high
an
rye.
American rye. I don't think they grow rye over there. I don't think they grow
Is
rye.
there a rye belt?
Yeah, right. It's just east of the Bible Belt. That's funny. Is there a rye belt? That is awesome. We got to can that one. That's an awesome one. The rye belt. This one comes from the rye belt.
The rye belt of Scotland. But no, this one is my new like favorite Johnny Walker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if I know someone likes Johnny Walker, I'm buying them this. Depending how much I like them.
Depending on the price. And
Depending on the price, so yeah. So this one, like, if you are getting it for somebody, this has to be something that you really like that person a lot, and you want to give them a good gift. Or if you like Johnny Walker yourself,
And as a reminder, like because we found it for as cheap as we did, there's got to be a massive markup on this stuff. So it's like,
gotta be, yeah,
like look out for that price tag,
yeah.
right?
It could be even higher than this.
I think it was like $43.99 was the price that they got this for.
And this, and honestly, I could see someone charging $100 for this because it says celebratory.
Yeah, and it was 82. It was listed for 82, down to 80. 40, 44. Absolutely zero complaints.
Wow,
So good.
that is amazing.
All right, let's clean up and then
Oh yeah.
head off to the next.
All right, we're coming to the final round here, if you will.
Yep. This is the fun one.
Since you're
Yeah. Of course. I'm looking forward to this one.
this one, yes. Now this one, I'm going to talk about this real quick. We are not going to be using ice.
No.
On this one.
So actually, yeah. So Mike D, you actually you picked up some droppers, little water dropper.
Yeah, for
Right.
$250.
I don't know if I mentioned on the previous episode, like getting like the $40 like freaking Amazon.
We're looking for eyedroppers. He was like, "Oh, there's a $40 dropper." I'm like, $40 eyedropper? Like, what kind of drops are these things? And it's like this fancy, like
liquid
long,
gold.
like this fancy long thing. I'm just like, you don't need a $40 dropper.
Oh man, it was funny. But seriously, like, you know, we're gonna do this one instead of altering we don't want to alter the temperature too much. But add the water. So this is room temp.
Yes.
So room temp whiskey with some room temp water. Maybe give it a little bit, accentuate some flavors.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Let me tell you something. This bottle here. Put this.
It is a very cool bottle.
So this bottle is so cool at the deer head, or the buck. I'm not sure because like this is what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12
point buck. So I mean, this is a cool bottle.
It is a cool.
It's a very cool bottle.
I've always liked that the Dalmore. I've always enjoyed their label and their styling.
Yes.
So I guess I'll dig into this a little bit.
Yeah, dig into while I'm pouring.
So this one,
and I'm actually gonna do a full ounce on this one, just so you know, because
cool.
this is we're not you know, we're just gonna add water at some point. We don't need to re-pour.
So this is like as with scotches that we've talked about, and Mike D's always mentioned, you know, nobility of scotches. Nobility. So the Dalmore heritage dates back to 1263.
Dude, that is so old.
1263.
That is like, I mean, this is like,
right. It was in this year that Colin of Kintail, chief of the clan Mackenzie, saved King Alexander III from the fury of a charging stag. In recognition of his noble act, the king granted the Mackenzie clan the right to use the 12-pointed royal stag emblem on their coat of arms, which is badass. That right there is a badass
Thank
thing.
God I counted that correctly.
Right? It's 11. What? 12 point? Are you sure? When descendants of the clan became owners of the Dalmore distillery in 1867, the royal stag became the recognizable icon that proudly adorns each bottle of the Dalmore today, an emblem which encapsulates a rich past whilst also embodying a promise that the Dalmore will remain at the pinnacle of its single malt. The Dalmore house style derives from a close and trusted relationship that was forged with Sherry House Gonzalez Baez over 100 years ago. Dang, that's a really old relationship.
Yes.
Oof. The rare casks, which have previously held 30-year-old Matusalem Oloroso sherry, are exclusive to the Dalmore. This is why you gave me this one, because you would have been like, Motoboda.
Yep. But that one out completely.
These casks enrich the signature chocolate and orange character of our whiskey and with rich and nutty flavors. So I will say, they mentioned like chocolate and orange. That is 100% accurate.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week. You actually called it out like that. What's that candy orange you get?
Yeah,
that's in slices.
Yeah,
yes,
like 100%, dude.
I mean, the smell is that smell of chocolate's there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love this.
It smells like dark chocolate. It smells like I'm smelling a chocolate.
I want a bottle of this for myself. Like, I want a bottle of this in my stash.
Yeah. I think you should.
It's worth it.
Obviously,
this is worth it.
Obviously, we got that you get it cheaper at Total Wine than we did off the Vault out of ABC. Remember, it was like $20 cheaper.
Oh, that's right.
So at ABC, we paid $1.50.
Yeah.
But at Total Wine, they have it on their shelf for $1.30.
Yep.
So this is well worth $1.30, in my opinion.
It is worth $150.
Yeah, it's worth $150, but it's well worth $130.
Always shop around.
It is so good. Just I love smelling it. Smelling is a pleasure.
It's like it's orange and chocolate, but like the chocolate is very forward.
And this one's silk. Like I have not used the word silk for these three, right? This one is silk. It just glides down your mouth, your tongue.
So now that's one of the things that we, last week when we brought this up, right? God, this tastes so good. Like seriously, like raisin and stuff like that is in there. So we talked about this in comparison to the Redbreast 15.
We have to do a little Irish Scotland fight.
So to me, the smoothness, the characteristics of the whiskey itself, the flavors and everything that are kind of released, they're so good. So I didn't actually go into what this should taste like, right on the nose and the palate. So we're talking orange cinnamon, we're talking nutmeg, vanilla, ginger, some crushed apples, caramelized orange, and rich dark chocolate.
And I'm definitely getting that cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, the chocolate.
yeah.
That chocolate is like rich dark chocolate, 100%.
And it's funny that they put it at the end. It's very forward.
It is. It's up front immediately. It is totally up front. And like, they're not using the word spice because there's no spice in there. This is not spice by any means.
Nope, there really isn't. And it's so mellow for a Scotch.
Are you getting the ginger at all? I'm looking for it. I don't know
Well,
if
so ginger to me is that little pepperiness. That's very like it's a really light pepper.
There's a little pepper in there, and that's what that is. So that's got to be the ginger.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because it's like, I mean, ginger is like a sweet and peppery thing, right? So you take a bite of it, get a little bit of like heat on your tongue.
I got a little ahead of you there.
That's fine.
Oh my god, that's so.
All right, do we want to do a couple drops?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do. How many drops do you think we should do? 2 or 3?
I say 2. We start with 2.
Okay. 1, 2. Ha ha ha. There we go. Look at that dropper for $2.50. Look at that thing worked.
Yeah, look at that.
So I'm going to stroll around. Yeah, right.
So not really any change to anything.
Maybe a little more chocolate, if anything. If it did anything to it, I think the chocolate's more.
That spice went away little bit.
That pepper or
amazing.
that ginger went away, and it's just more chocolate to me.
Yeah,
that water brought out more chocolate.
Yeah,
this is just so good.
I really do like this. This is a really good whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, it's always nice when you kind of take a gamble on a whiskey, right? Like, I don't think I've ever had a Dalmore.
I have not.
And
I have never had one before.
We debated, like, when we found it and they're like, it's 150, we were like, okay, that's a steep price for a whiskey we've never had.
Yeah.
But then I did bring up us dropping the 130 on the Redbreast, which we'd never had either.
Yep.
So it's like, sometimes it kind of works in your favor.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why it's that price. And this one hits all the flavor profiles we like. Yeah. It really does. It really does. Like chocolatey,
this is
orange, smooth.
I mean, this one is. I'm going to say, not that there's winners and losers, but this one's more of an upper echelon.
Oh yeah.
Of the other three, not that.
Goddamn, dude, the thing's been like the name's been around since 1263.
Isn't that crazy how old that is?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the stories of Scotch are so much different than the stories of bourbon and whiskeys. It just is, because America started late,
Yeah,
but
it's an American dream type thing.
But like when you hear something like this goes back to that time period.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy, and then, obviously they were making Scotch because they were eating haggis, so they had to get drunk as possible, humanly possible, and then eat this horrible thing called haggis.
You don't know it's horrible. Have you ever had it?
If it's not in America, and you can't get it in America to eat, I'm
Well, that's
pretty sure
because
it's
it's
not
made
good.
of lungs. and stomach and intestines and other things.
I mean, this is just so good. Here, look at the play it down. I keep playing. I keep playing with the bottle because the bottle's so cool.
It is a really cool bottle. Highland single malt Scotch. It's just, what's like something else too. It's like it's only 40% alcohol. That's it. 80 proof.
Most Scotches are.
They're pretty low, yeah.
Actually, most Scotches are not like, I don't find high. When I was doing all these, I think all of these were around the same proof.
Yeah.
This one's 43%.
This one's 51.
Okay. And then this one is 43%.
This one's 102 proof.
Okay. Which you would never know.
Oh, no, that was so smooth.
That was so smooth, you would never know. Yeah. I mean, look, we had a really good time with these 4 tonight, and you can't go wrong with any of them. I'm just going to say that the Dalmore is a little more in the upper echelon of the categories.
What's this different?
But I mean,
I would be happy with any single one of these bottles in my closet, my cabinet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ron Burgundy, eat your heart out on this one, man.
Bro.
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy would actually probably chug down on this.
He would. I think that's funny. He would. That would be his. Ron Burgundy would probably go on the Johnny Walker out of all.
Heck
of them.
Yeah.
But man, this is such a good night. Such a good show. You know, and then we had such good food, that smoked salmon, that
The chorizo.
the smoked salmon with the capers and the onions and the soda bread,
little salty, little sweet.
and that salmon was just like so tender too.
Yeah.
The sausages,
Awesome.
how can you go wrong with a pint of sausages?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just the word
good
pint
drinking-
of
it's
sausages.
good drinking
Yeah,
food.
yeah, exactly. You know, and then the chorizo sausage, like you said, and that sharp prevalence. I mean, we had really good food tonight.
We did.
You know, it was snacky food.
It was.
It was definitely snacky food tonight, and it's such a compliment to our scotches tonight. It really was.
All of them were.
Yeah, yeah. I this is probably going to be one of my favorite shows now.
I think
To be
so.
honest with you, because A, we did 4, B, because they were all so good.
Literally not a complaint from
You
any
know,
of
and
these.
then the other reason we had really good snacky food.
Yeah.
You know, I mean the food last week was awesome too, but I mean this is just a good pairing tonight.
Yeah.
Like we nailed the pairing with the food tonight.
I agree 100%.
And once again, we're not smoking cigars tonight.
No.
We'll be back to cigars next week. I
I'm
promise.
still recovering.
I had a little relapse with
We got to give you some time to recoup.
yeah, I had a little relapse after I smoked.
We have some burning. We have we have
really
like
good
7 more that we haven't touched yet that are
know.
just burning holes in
Oh,
our pockets.
I have been itching to smoke a
they
cigar.
look good too.
I just know I need like one more week.
Yeah,
My body's telling me this. I gotta follow my body right now.
gotta do it.
Sucks.
It's all right.
Sucks.
At least you can drink this.
Well, I mean, look, doctors prescribed this back in the day, so I'm just following some old doctor's orders. You know. Actually, I'm gonna search out like antique shops. I'm gonna find like an old prescription,
Drink whiskey.
like a written prescription from a doctor, and like just keep that like on my wall, and say no, Dr. McKilligutty.
Says I have to drink it.
Yeah.
Once a day, at least. Well, Mike D, this has been a fantastic
good
show.
show.
I love everything about every single one of these Scotch whiskeys.
Yeah. And I think we're doing our show a little bit early next week, right? We're recording it early. Is that next week? I'm confused with our schedule right now. You throw me some curveballs right now. I'm not sure what's going
So,
on.
I mean, I'll give a shout out to my boy. It's his bachelor party.
Is that next week?
Yeah, that's next
Oh, so
week,
we are
yeah.
doing our show. We're going to record our show a little bit early
on
next
Wednesday,
week.
on the 17th.
So I think we're going to do the States of Whiskey again.
We're doing the States of Whiskey.
Volume 2.
Yeah.
And we're going to do an interesting...
We're going to stick a little home.
yeah.
And then, kind of East Coast a little bit more, test it out.
East Coast and West Coast.
What's
You
the
know?
West? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
We're going to do a little West Coast. They just had a earthquake, I think, this morning.
Oh, yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, it was on the news. So I'll give you a hint where we're going.
And you got 2 days to prepare.
I don't think it's going to cause an earthquake. But I think next week's show is going to be really good. But yeah,
It's gonna be a fun one.
T.I., good night tonight.
Always.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to our scotches. So scotch, more scotch. Pick up a bottle, drop the dime, get the Dalmore.
Super
drop the
good.
dime.
Super worth it. Find this for 40.
Find it for the right price.
You can find it anywhere between 40 and 80. You're not
It's
going to
worth
be
it.
upset
It's
about
worth
it.
it.
This one up there in like what, the 50s, 60s?
$59 for the compass box.
And this guy over here,
Standard and the Balvenie.
anywhere between 80 and 90.
Yeah, and you can't go wrong with that. So grab a bottle, listen to this show when it comes out on Monday. And everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week. On
Have a
Frisky
good
Whiskey.
one, everybody.